All Age Media is proud to present The Week Before, a show that encourages discussion, knowledge, and a bit of banter in between. Now presenting Jamie Dyer with this week's special guest.
My guests today are two American talk show hosts, their show being broadcast all over the world via Spreaker and many internet radio stations. I'm of course talking about the Big D Zone, and its hosts are here right now, Deshon and Donnell. Hello to you.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I'm doing better since I got out of the hospital, so it's all good.
And I'm very excited, and I love the introduction. You made us look like celebrities. Thank you.
Yes, really.
Wow.
Well, thank you very much. So yeah, we'll move on with the show here, and the first round is the discussion round, and this week I wanted to talk about Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Now, we've always known about Thanksgiving here in the UK. Obviously, we don't really celebrate it, but the kind of what I would call the holder from it, which is Black Friday, has kind of burst onto the UK scene over the last 2 years or so, or even longer than that, actually, and it's caused interesting scenes around our shopping centres and such over the last few years or so on that particular day. First off, what are your thoughts about Thanksgiving in general?
My thoughts on Thanksgiving is just basically about being thankful for what you have and being around family and sharing that dinner. Now, it doesn't normally have to be a turkey dinner, although it would like to be a Thanksgiving tradition. But sometimes you can have other dinners besides Thanksgiving dinner. But to me, it's being thankful for being around family and thanking God that you're alive. And we just had a very special Thanksgiving. It was the first one that we got to share together as a married couple.
Yes.
And I am so thankful for my beautiful bride. And it was a happy Thanksgiving.
It was wonderful. Thanksgiving I think is a great time of the year, but we should always be thankful every day, not just one time a year, but we should be thankful every day. And you shouldn't have to just pick one day in the year to gather together as a family and share food and laughter and love just that one time. Mm-hmm. We should be able to pick a day out of a month, any month of the year, and get together and do that same thing and still be thankful and not have to call it Thanksgiving Day.
That's very, very true, that. Actually, okay. I do agree with you, wholeheartedly. And obviously, we don't really have that day here in the UK. It's more of an American tradition. But obviously, as I explained before, the kind of the day after also, the Black Friday thing has kind of burst into here, and it just seems to me to be an excuse for UK retailers really to use it as an excuse to sell wares really just before Christmas. I don't really know how to put this, but is it actually a thing in America?
Yes, it is.
It's a big thing.
As long as I can remember, it's been a thing in America. And I tell you, people get downright vicious.
Yes.
Crazy.
And I mean, they run over people and step on people to get to them things that they've got on sale. I hate Black Friday with a passion.
Yeah.
And I think, like you, it's just an excuse for retailers to sell their wares and make that money because they know people will spend it. But when they start interjecting it and putting it in on Thanksgiving Day too now, instead of doing it the day after, that's really, really
overdoing
overdoing it, because that takes people away from their families and their dinner and being together, and makes them go out and act like animals in the stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and we did see scenes of that this year, and if you know sort of British crowds don't do that, and there were lots of videos going around of, as you say, people stepping on each other and lots of sort of fighting, even over tiny little items, really.
Exactly. I wanted to add something to it. It's been crazy that they did just leave their family on Thanksgiving Day just to camp out in the cold in the store, waited for 24 hours just for a 6 a.m. sale for them to open up the door to get Christmas present when they could have done it on a Saturday. Duh.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think the difference here is over in the UK, obviously, we don't have traditionally Thanksgiving Day, so to us it seemed a little bit more sort of pointless in a way. It just seemed like just something that's come over from America and just an excuse, as we say, for Christmas presents, as you said before. But to hear actually that sometimes it's on Thanksgiving Day, I mean, that's like having a sale on Christmas Day.
Exactly.
And what's the point is that? A sale on Christmas Day, because Christmas Day is a holy day and people should be home together
With their family.
with their families and enjoying that day for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And not just presents. I don't do the Christmas tree stuff anymore because it's too commercial, and I'm a Christian, and I know what that day's for. It's Jesus is what that day's about, not about giving presents and drinking and making merry and eating. It's about Jesus, and I think that people make it too commercial and too secular.
No, exactly, and obviously after Christmas Day over here, I don't. You probably have it there as well. We have the world famous Boxing Day sales, which is always, as you say, people camping out and waiting for discount on things, and it has become in a way the whole kind of holiday season, probably with Thanksgiving as well. I can't really say much on it. It's probably become a big commercial venture in a way for lots of retail-based businesses.
I worked during the holidays in Macy's back when I used to work in Chris Christie's place. That's New Jersey. For those that are listening who don't know who Chris Christie is the governor of New Jersey. But anyway, I worked in Macy's during Thanksgiving and Christmas, not as far as New Year's, but nonetheless, I did stocking the item for Christmas present. But thank goodness I did not work on no Black Friday. I mean, it would have been hectic. I mean, by the time I would have got out of there, I would have been sleeping on the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been ridiculous just to see the people tearing each other off just to get the item that they want, or just to get the suit that they want to wear. Or, I mean, whatever happened to, like the princess said, whatever happened to being around family and it could wait till Cyber Saturday. It could wait till Cyber Monday. Come on.
Yeah,
now that could wait.
Black Saturday doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Here now they call it a Saturday. They call it the small retailers Saturday.
Yeah, the princess
for the ones that have just like one little shop that they have, and people come in and buy on Saturday in the small businessman's retail shops. And then, of course, Cyber Monday.
Yeah, that's come over here too.
And now Tuesdays, they're thinking up something for the Tuesday after Cyber Monday.
Oh, my land.
In the end.
Yes.
Oh.
In the end, it'll just go all the way up to Christmas, really.
Exactly. And they rush the holidays as it is. Halloween hadn't even come yet. They had the Christmas
stuff already.
Yeah. Already out.
The moment November arrives, there is the Christmas tree.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're right. And there's the reef right overhead of the woman, like, what in the world? We didn't even pass November yet. What's that?
We haven't had Thanksgiving, let alone,
Yeah.
put up the Christmas tree and start killing people just to buy a little toy for some famous little toy they've come up with for the
For
for
the
the
kids.
holiday.
Mm.
Well, I tell you, they're vicious.
They are.
They get vicious.
Well, they are. It was certainly very, almost like animalistic scenes going on here. And as I say, as a nation, we don't normally, we're not normally like that.
Hmm.
No, exactly.
It does. It brings out the animal in people,
Mm-hmm.
the animal part of us, and people tend to, they don't care. They just run in there and they don't care who they hit, who they hurt, or who they step on, just as long as they get what they want.
Exactly, yeah, and obviously because of, unfortunately, due to the success of it over here, it looks set to go on for a little while yet.
I feel for you because I don't, like I said, I don't like it, and it's miserable here. So I feel for the British people too, especially the ones that don't like that kind of thing. I feel sorry that you have to be in the middle of it.
Yeah, me too. I
Because
mean,
it's a tradition I wish that had never started.
is there a way that they can outlaw this? I mean, really?
I wish. I can't see that happening because
No.
too many people like it.
Well, exactly. Right, let's. I think we've discussed that to a length there. Right, let's move on to round 2, which is the
Let's do it.
Tell Me About round, where I will give you 15 seconds to talk about a random subject that I will give you. If I think you can talk for longer than that allotted time, then obviously I will do that. Okay, so first off, Deshon, tell me about and give me 15 seconds on the subject of Springfield. That is Springfield starting from now.
Well, I just moved to Springfield, Missouri, and I am happy to be a brand new resident of Springfield, Missouri. It has a lot of great history, and it is the birthplace of Route 66, of course. And Springfield is home to many different colleges all around in the same area, which is pretty surprising. And of course, Springfield has many hospitals. They have a road called Medical Mile, which means they have hospitals and doctor's office. They have a big hospital system called Cox Health. They have 2 hospitals. One is Cox North, and the other one, which is the best hospital to be in case you're in a situation, is Cox South. They have the best food and the best workers in the hospital part there. The best workers in the hospital part is in Cox South. And they also do have some tourist attraction, of course. And they have Wild Bill Hiccup. There was a shooting area right there here in Springfield. And they also have a pedestrian bridge here in Springfield as well. And I'm very happy to be a citizen of Springfield. Hopefully, I could be maybe the city council or the mayor someday in Springfield. I love it here.
I always say this to podcasters, broadcasters. You can always tell that you do this on a regular basis.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can always tell you can do this on a regular basis. But yeah, okay, so let's move on to the third round here, which is where I turn it completely over to you. This is called the What's on Your Mind round, where I say, Deshon and Donnell, what's on your mind? This could be a rant, this could be absolutely anything.
All right, well, there has been a couple of stories, of course, what was going on with the police, what happened in Ferguson, and, all know what the repercussions of that story. But I saw one good story about a cop, and my darling sweetheart saw another good story about a cop when we were talking about it just before we came on the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, about the story that I saw, it was about it happened somewhere in like probably the southern states or something like that. I haven't got the story yet, but I remember the details of the story. There was a lady who got caught shoplifting, and the cop that would have been the arresting officer actually brought the lady some eggs, and the lady was said, well, all I had was $1.25, and she was going to give it back to the officer, and the officer said, no, the only way that you can repay me is never to do this again.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Well, the story that I saw about a police officer, because Deshon's correct, and that there's so much negativism been going around about the police here in the United States, in not just here in Missouri, but in New York and in California and other places, of cops beating people up and choking them to death, and when they have them in chokeholds. And I just happened to come across the story of a police officer up in the northern states around New York, that he was stopping people in their cars and handing out presents to the driver in the car, and giving them a Christmas present. And people were just very shocked at this police officer. He was in his uniform, and he would stop them, and he would knock on their window, and they'd roll it down, and he would hand them the gift and let them go on. And I just thought, well, how nice of that officer, because there needs to be some positiveness about our police, and not just so much negativism, because there are good policemen out there, and they need to be recognized too. Exactly. Not just the bad ones,
No, definitely, and I think sometimes the media does tend to focus on the bad things or the negativity, as you say, rather than just acts of kindness like that. Really, they kind of get swept aside, or just on social media for people to share around.
Exactly.
Which
right.
in a way is probably the best way for those kinds of stories to get around, personally, because then it is what it is. It hasn't been twisted by any media establishment.
Exactly. Yes, and the police are there to protect us, and there are a lot of good policemen that do. And I just wish that they could weed out the bad ones. And so that we could just have all the good ones out there.
Yeah.
And so that they can be recognized for their goodness, because there's some of them that have been heroes, and they're saving people's lives, and in burning cars, and various other types of disasters like that, and some that have been injured or shot and killed, saving somebody's life.
Line of duty.
And so, I think that they deserve to be recognized instead of all the bad.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think that's the same for most professions, really. I think whenever anyone does a good job, if, you could have 1,000 of one profession do a great job, but if one does a bad job, they do tend to focus on that particular one. I think just to make an example of it, really,
Yes.
But no, there we are. That brings us around to the end.
Oh wait, can I give Jamie a treat?
Oh, go on. Yes. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to give Jamie one of my famous rants. I want to give you a treat, a little Christmas present from me to you.
No worries. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
So, well, what I was saying yesterday, I nearly gave up my dream of a college education because of what Satan was doing, because he always come to steal, kill, and destroy. He made me think of giving up my whole dream of a college education to buy either a faith degree or make one up. And if it wasn't for the darling encouragement of my darling wife, I would have went ahead and bought a cap and gown and afraid myself of going to get that I got a college degree from anywhere college, just because of the fact that they had these stupid rules and everything like that. And I just nearly threw it away. For what? Because I was mad because of this rule, and I was mad because that I said, you know what, there is no way, no one is going to let me get through any hoops or any red tape. They just won't budge. I mean, it was no way that I was going to try again. But thank goodness for my darling bride for not consented to my head. I mean, I was going to give up on the dreams. He said, darling, next year, after Christmas and New Year's, everything's going to be a whole new year. You'll be able to try it again. and start all over again, even if it means going to a new college altogether. That will accept you and will take the paperwork that you have to do. Some of these won't even take a letter of high school graduation. The only one that I had to box like Rocky. I was like, what I gotta say? Yo, Adrian, I did it. What? Just so I could prove that I did what I did in a particular college, or just that I proved in a high school program that I had to stay till I was 21? Really? Enough is enough. Just let me get my degree. Let me have my graduation program. Let me be able to get a job so I could provide for my brand new wife and my family, so I could do that. Just let me do that, and you can have your caviar, you can have your fancy mansion, and you can have your yachts. And all of you, some of you college presidents do live in a college campus already, in the fancy house, in a nice, beautiful house on campus, and then you already get a lot of money anyway. I mean, they have fundraisers for crying out loud. You can raise the money for that, but don't raise student tuition so they can't even pay. Come on.
Yes.
And that, my good friend, is my gift to you.
Oh dear. That goes out to David, who I know loves your rants.
That one's out to David. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That was amazing. That is why I love the Big D Zone.
Thank you.
Oh, there we are. And do you know what? That is probably the most irate ending to this show ever. But never mind. Let's do that. Yes, let's come to the end of the show here. In fact, we might even split it into 2 shows because that was so good. Let's see. Yeah. So where's my script? Oh, I haven't got one. Never mind. Never mind. Right. So we've come to that part of the show where we have to say goodbye. Thank you very much, Deshon and Donnell, for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, and please do come again if you so wish. Right, so this has been Jamie Dyer right here on The Week Before, and I would try and do this simultaneously with them, but, we are over Skype here, so there might be a delay. So I'm just going to say, we are out.
You've been listening to The Week Before, a weekly recorded show presented by Jamie Dyer, with this week's special guest. The announcer was Katie Harvey, and this has been an all-age media production. Thank you for listening.